Hey guys, Lord Wolf 99 back again with another Lunar Legends episode. Today's episode is called Reservations about the Reserve. And as most of these episodes go, we do have special guest star Adam in the wings.
Hello, hello. Hope you're all doing all right.
Here he is, here he is. Going to be quite a long one this episode, guys, so strap in, get yourself some snacks, drinks, whatever you want. Because it is going to be a long one. Because we're not just talking about like one specific instance. We're talking about a lot of creepy shit that happened at this nature reserve. So yeah, get ready. Okay, how do you want to start this, Adam? Which one should we go for?
Well, I think we should before we really go into details of kind of the creepy stuff that happened. I think we should just like tell them an overview about this nature reserve, kind of where it is. Obviously, not the exact location, so they can track us down on a map, but like a little bit about it and stuff, because it's kind of like it's already like quite an abandoned little nature reserve, and it's not really a nature reserve as such because there's no really like exotic animals there apart from the druggies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should start off by just giving them a bit of context so we can set the scene. You're a storyteller, you know how to do that stuff better than me.
Yeah. Okay. So picture a shitty little children's park, guys, to start with. You know, you've got a little zip line, which wasn't as good as our usual zip line, and you've got a crappy like little kids playground really, and then a big slide and a little car park, and then you've got a massive field for people to play football on and whatnot, and then you've got the nature reserve, and it's basically just a big wooded area, and if you go far enough, it becomes like not necessarily open fields, it's more like a maze, to be honest, of like high bushes, tall bushes and stuff. And yeah, it can be quite creepy at night. Lots of weird shit. I think, to be fair, should we sort of start in the car park and make our way into the nature reserve with this episode? Do that. So, with the car park, you've obviously got all the usual type of shit. So you've got drug dealers, you know, driving in and looking around and being suspicious and watching you if you're on the park, because that's how they do. Or they might have just been nonces. Who can tell? Who can tell?
Or maybe both.
Maybe both, yeah. I mean,
Killing two birds with one stone.
yeah. I mean, you have also got the like caretaker who used to come around sometimes. He definitely strikes me as a bit of a bit of a nonce. No offense to this lovely individual, but you know, it's how it is, isn't it?
Yeah, but this kind of like so it wasn't like a massive park. I don't want people to think that this is like a you know, it was kind of like a nature reserve that was no longer visited by many people. It was a park that was pretty much like abandoned, and the car park was literally only big enough to fit about 5 or 6 cars in, if that. And kind of, it was it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. Unless you knew where it was, well, this sounds going to sound weird, but unless you knew where it was, you wouldn't know where it was. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like a big talked about thing. It's not like until Tommy introduced me to it, I had no idea that this park and this field and then the nature reserve was there. And like, everyone that I've told about it, they're like, I have no idea where you're talking about this thing. So it's not like a big advertised thing. It's pretty much entirely abandoned, where, you know, only the local people will know what it is, and even they don't go to it.
Yeah.
And it's in like a pretty rough area as well, where there is like a lot of houses that you'd say are abandoned, or a lot of houses where, like, you know, the stuff is overgrown, where people just don't take care of the houses and stuff. And it's, you know, there's quite a bit of police presence, which is one of the stories that we've got about as well, which is a fabulous story of experience against naivety. between the two police officers. Um, but yeah, so it's literally like already when you're there, like it's fine during the day. You'll maybe like we were sometimes there during the day, and we'd maybe only see 3 or 4 people go into the nature reserve. That's how quiet it is. You know, we'd be there for maybe 5 hours, and we'd only see maybe 3 or 4 people. But like during the night, that's when this suspicious activity started creeping up, and I know like all you lot know that Tom is a massive believer in like the paranormal and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not. Like I don't believe in anything, and I don't really get creeped out easily when it comes to that stuff because I don't believe in it. It makes it incredibly hard to creep me out because I have a logical explanation for everything. For this, some of the stuff that went down in that forest, I have no explanation for. It was just outright creepy.
Mm.
And there was times even when like you got creeped out, but it wasn't because of the paranormal or the suspicious kind of stuff. It was because some of the actual humans there were creepy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I don't know, it gave off bad vibes on a night. On a like in the daytime, it's perfectly fine. Like I used to go around there quite a lot with my cousin, and I mean, me and you went around there a few times during the day. But on a nighttime, it's a completely different vibe and different feel to it, and you kind of get the feeling like you want to just stay away from it. To be honest,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It's weird. Like, do you remember that time in the car park that guy pulled up and he was watching us for ages,
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
didn't he get out of the car and start like walking towards us, and we were like, yeah, no, fuck this.
Yeah. I can't remember if that was the same time that we playing like kind of like a hide and seek a little bit or something like
Yeah,
that. I
and
can't remember. So like I'm pretty sure we were playing like hide and seek, and then this car pulled up, and again I think like I can't remember which one of us was hiding and which one of us was seeking or whatever, but like this car was there, and cars pulling up wasn't like it wasn't necessarily a rare. It didn't happen often, but it wasn't necessarily rare. People might have taken a wrong turn, and then that was like an easy place to turn around, or like you say, a drug dealer where like a car would come in, and then 2 minutes later another car would come in, and then you know they'd park literally right next to each other, exchange gifts. We can't say it was drugs; it might have been Pokemon cards.
hmm,
And then and drive off. So when this car pulled up, we kind of already we was like, because we genuinely thought a drug deal was going to go down. But that car
yeah,
was there for 20, 25 minutes, right? Didn't move, and it was just one person in the car watching us on this park. So the car park, literally, there's car park, and then I don't even think there's a gate. I think it's just car park, a little bit of a grassy area, like maybe a 3 foot grassy area, and then straight onto the park.
yeah. It's the fact that he was lingering. It's not right at all.
No.
Like for us, like we were borderline, like like we were 17, like so we were just, we were typical teenagers loitering around. But for grown adults to be there it was weird.
Yeah.
And then you always had because there's like a dirt track that runs down the side of it, guys, and that leads to the nature reserve, but you could see it from the park, and there would be people that would drive down there and then just sit on this little dirt patch next to the nature reserve, and there'd be flashing lights and stuff, and it was very weird.
Yeah. So we
Like,
we 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 saw like a lot of. There was kind of like basically at night. This it sounds like cliche, but this forest thing came alive. Like a lot of weird things was happening. There was a lot of activity. There was a lot of things going down when there weren't anyone. Where me and Tommy were the only ones on the park, or me and Tommy were the only ones in the area, and some weird stuff happened. But like obviously there was a lot of drug deals going down and stuff like that, but that's kind of to be expected. But like the kind of the long dirt path down the side, Like, there would be cars as well that would go in there, and this dirt path led to nowhere, apart from one house, right, in the nature reserve, and that's the only way in and the only way out. Okay, in terms of being in a vehicle, um, so if you go in there, unless you live in the house, you come back out, right? Because unless you go to the nature reserve, you're not going to be in there long. It's not a massive, huge nature reserve, so you'd come back out. There'd be times where cars would go down there and then not. We wouldn't see them come back out, and we'd notice because we would hear them. It's like midnight. We'd hear them come back out, and
Yeah.
a lot of the cars wouldn't. A lot of the cars would go down there and then just like we wouldn't see them come back out, and that was creepy. But that was only something that I kind of thought about now that I'm actually realizing,
Yeah.
and now I'm thinking back on it. I didn't actually think that was weird at the time because I didn't even make sense of it. But now, the amount of cars that went down there compared to the amount of cars that actually came out was not even.
It's weird, isn't it, to think about? Like, I don't know, like, where were they going? I don't know, maybe there's a logical explanation. Maybe the people who owned the house were into, like, weird sex parties. I don't know. People are into some weird shit these days, and, I wouldn't put it past people. But you have to admit it's very strange, guys. Like Adam said, the amount of people that would go down there, there's just bad vibes about it. And like I said, there could be genuine like reasons for it, but I don't know. Like I say, maybe they were just dogging. I don't know. But
But do,
when
do
you
you know?
think some of them parked up and there was lights flashing and stuff, it's bizarre.
Yeah. Now we obviously there was flashing lights from there, and people like or like normal car lights that was on. But in the nature reserve, like the nature reserve is like full of trees, and like there's no real specific path through there, and there's definitely no way cars can get in there, or like or even it'd be pretty much impossible to even get like a moped or a motorbike through there because it was just so hilly and so bumpy, and there was rocks everywhere and trees and branches. It was overgrown. It wasn't really taken care of. It wasn't like a forest where like I mean we talked. Did we talk about in the Lunar Legends where like in the forest with the car that went through. Like it wasn't the same thing as that. Like this was like it was just something that had been there and wasn't really able to. You wasn't able to access it unless you was on foot. And the amount of times that we saw flashing lights coming from the woods, and this was not from the kind of the cars. This was from somebody or something in the woods, right? And it might be, sat there, having your milkshake or whatever you're doing right now. You might be like, well, it's clearly just someone with a flashing light with a torch on or something. The speed that these lights would move at from one end of the forest to the other was incredible and run back and forth, and then there'd be lights from either angles as if like these things were communicating with each other. And and,
Mm.
and, and they would move at such a big speed. Like even it would be even if there was, and this was my logical explanation that there is like a dirt bike in there, right? One, you'd be able to hear it because it was dead quiet.
Oh yeah,
You'd
Dead of
be able
Night
to.
were the only people
You would
around.
be able to hear it 100%, and it was quiet. That quiet, you could hear the owls, and like when it's like maybe 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, you start hearing like the birds wake up a little bit. You
Mm.
could hear that. You'd be able to hear any kind of vehicle that was in that woods, and you couldn't. It was quiet. Okay, you could literally hear a pin drop, right? So you'd be able to hear that stuff. There was nothing, no sound, and this was moving so quick. But even if for some bizarre reason it was the quietest vehicle in the world, I actually personally think those lights were moving quicker than what a vehicle would have been able to do in that forest because like I said, there wasn't a path to go down. It would be so slow. A car or any kind of vehicle going through there, it'd be so slow because you'd have to dodge loads of things. This was moving like the speed of light, honestly, and I know there'd be times where I notice it, there'd be times where Tommy noticed it, there'd be times where we both notice it, and then it wouldn't happen for maybe an hour, and then it would come back again. It was so weird.
Yeah, it was like as soon as we'd start like calming down and like being like, oh, it was just like a trick of our imagination or whatever, it'd happen again and come back. And it's like, it's a bit weird and a bit like almost too coincidental.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very very weird vibes in there.
And and I even remember thinking that it's probably there's like obviously so there's the park, then there's a bit of a field, then there's the nature reserve, and then there's like you said like the maze thing. I
Mm.
thought well potentially after the maze thing there's a road. No, this this field where the bushes and kind of the maze thing goes on literally as far as the eye can see. All right, there is no way on Earth you are catching light coming from the other end of the field, coming through, and then coming through the forest, through the, through to the park. No way is that happening. And it was so weird. And I don't know about you, but like I remember saying to you on so many occasions, it felt so uneasy.
It did. Like I said, like the vibe completely changed as soon as it started getting dark, and like bearing in mind this is a children's park, guys, there wasn't any lights on the park. There weren't any like lampposts or anything. There's no natural lighting or anything like that on the actual park. So it's pitch black, and you might think, oh well, then it's just the dark and it like things are naturally a bit more creepier in the dark. No, the vibe completely changed. Like shit went from like 0 to 100 really fucking quick. I don't know. It's very weird, and like the amount of shit that actually happened in there as well.
So like, didn't you go on like going on your own? Because me and you were thinking like originally when we went there, we hadn't gone at night. We was in the morning, was like, oh, this is a really cool place, and we wanted kind of like not a hideaway, but like a chill out spot. So we
Mm.
like originally thought, oh, well, we'll do something. Didn't you find like, I can't remember, like, you found stuff in there and stuff when you went on your own?
Yeah, so like I found a campsite once, and the campsite had like an axe in there and like pans and shit. So somebody had been living there, and God knows doing what else. But
Yeah. I mean, why would you need an axe? An axe just seems like.
well, I don't know. Maybe they were homeless, but yeah, an axe seems a bit overkill. Like, what? Why do you need to cut anything down or anything?
And if you're homeless, where do you get an axe from? Like, the people just have axes on them now? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure if I was homeless, like, I'd struggle to find an axe.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like,
You know what I mean? And like, and I'm pretty sure, like, with how like how bad the world is, you can't just walk down the street with an axe. I'm pretty sure that's kind of like,
yeah, like you would definitely be stopped if you were carrying that sort of thing.
yeah,
Like, that's not right at all. But yeah, that's just like the start of things you find in there. Like, there was weirdos, like just normal people, but like weirdos who like there's a lake in the middle of this nature reserve, and they would go fishing. Only they were very fucking weird. Like, I had one chase me once, all because I was trying to make like Adam said, like a little hideout, and I'd cut a couple of twigs down, like literally twigs, just to make like a little twig wall. And this guy took offense to that and started following me through the woods. Like, I don't think he saw what like anything wrong with doing that, but like it was very weird. Like, he literally followed me, and like I took my jacket off at the time, um, because like obviously it was warm weather and everything. So I took that off whilst I was doing stuff, and yeah, so I had that hung up, and this guy's chasing me in a circle around the woods. So I've got to like try and lose him, and then go back in a circle to get my jacket. It's so fucking horrible. Like I don't know. I don't get people like at all. Like I was minding my own business. You're fishing. Fuck off. Like do one. Like I don't know, guys. It's weird, and I know I keep saying that, but like there are very strange things going on there. And I mean, like, there's that time, like, me and Adam had gone in there on one night because we finally thought, like, fuck it, let's go in, let's see what's actually in there, see if we can find anything, see anything. Because, you know, we were stupid teenagers. And on the way out, there's a guy. And he's walking into the nature reserve and he looks real skittish and really fucking weird, to be honest, guys.
It
And
is about maybe like it's about maybe like close to midnight at this point as well.
yeah, and this guy's walking in as we're walking out. So straight away we're thinking, what the fuck? Like, what kind of weirdo, like grown ass man, is going into the nature reserve at this time of night? And he stops next to us and he's like, "Oh, can you help me?" My like, was it his daughter or his son, like young son or whatever?
Daughter, I think.
He said that they'd gone missing, and he wanted us to go into the nature reserve and help him look for them. And we're like, yeah, no thanks. Stranger danger and all that. Don't want to get molested. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's still acting skittish. He goes in on his own, and we start to leave the nature reserve. And would you look at that? Lo and behold, must be our lucky fucking day, there's a cop car going past. So, what do? Being the good Samaritans that we are, we flag it down. And, you know, we approached the car, and we're talking to the officers. I'd say he was probably, what was he middle-aged, and she was in her 20s.
Yeah, yeah. She would. She was. I imagine she'd maybe just like become an officer. He was literally like, he was probably like maybe 40s. Maybe it's a bit blurry to be honest. I can't really. I remember her more than him
Oh,
because
yeah.
she was like anything. Do you know like first? Do you know like when you've worked at a company and then like you get a new employee and they're like, oh, how can I help you? Oh yeah, have a great day. And you just like give it time and you're gonna turn into me. You're gonna be on
Yeah.
antidepressants. That was literally like it would be so great if a camera followed those two around because it was like chalk and cheese. Like they were nothing like each other. He was like, I don't even think he got out the car. She got out the car and really was like, oh yeah. So yeah, so we told them you carry on. It was because you can describe it better than me because I'm a bit blurry on it.
Right. Yeah, so we tell them, like, obviously, we've just been in the nature reserve, we're coming out, and this guy stopped us and asked us to go in with him. And we say, like, he was acting real skittish, massive weird vibes coming off the guy. Like, so we thought we'd report it, you know, seeing as though you're driving past. And the older officer's just like, okay, yeah, fair, we'll report it, we'll write it up at the station. And he's like ready to leave and be done with his day and happy chappy. And this young this young woman, this young officer, she's just like, really, in the nature reserve? Oh, shall we have a look? Shall we have a look? And he's like, no, we don't have torches. And she's like, yeah, but we've got our phones. We've got torches on our phones. And like she's really fucking eager and ready to like go and look for this weirdo, and he's just like, nah, like, no, I want to go home to my wife and kids tonight, thanks. Like she was like, I don't know, she like it's like you said, like when you first start a job and you're like over eager and shit and you want to impress. She was really fucking going for it, and she wanted
Yeah.
to clearly do a good job and stuff, but he'd obviously had more experience on the job, and he was smarter. Like, I'm not being funny or anything, but if I was a cop and two teenagers come up to the car and like, oh, there's a weirdo in the woods, yeah, okay, I'll report it. Yeah, I'm not fucking going in after him. Like,
Huh.
he was smart because like you wouldn't want to because you don't know what he's got on him, and if you're in there, doesn't matter if you outnumber him 2-1. It's the middle of the night. It's pitch black, and you're in the middle of a fucking nature reserve. He could be anywhere, you know. But she was happy to just go and throw her life away for it. I mean, props to
Do you
her.
remember the? Do you remember? I don't know if it was the same night after they had left, but like, wasn't there a time where like there was? I can't remember. It was like a car that was like following us around. Like, do you remember? Do
Uh,
you remember that?
yeah, like before we even got in the nature reserve, it had been following us around, hadn't it? And then it
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
It would go around the block a few times, and like slow down near us, and like to the point where like we was like, is it like an undercover police car? And they've just like seen two youths, and they
literally,
assume that we're just gonna smoke some shit on there or whatever. Like, but this car was like following us around, and then like it would 10 minutes later it would kind of come back round again and then slow down on the park and kind of like watch us,
mm,
and then like
it,
almost like when we kind of made eye contact with them, it'd kind of go again, and then 10 minutes later it would come back. It was just all weird shit like this. This like is perfectly explainable. Like that okay, fine. That might not be creepy, but the amount of stuff like that happened, and it only happened at the nature reserve.
yeah.
Like it almost felt like, it's gonna sound really daft, but like you was such on a bad luck trip when you went there. Like you entered something that was kind of like, oh right, yeah, this is stuff that is gonna go down here, and it's all gonna be bad, negative shit.
Mm.
Like it felt that way. And I'm trying to think about some other kind of things that happen. Like you say, like we played hide and seek on there because we was two young kids and was just really bored out of our heads, and we kind of played into it a little bit in terms of like, oh, it's a bit creepy, this, let's play hide and seek, that'll be fun. But
Oh
like
yeah,
but
like
like
we're
I
idiots.
genuinely I genuinely like, and I don't know about you, but like when you was like seeking and I was hiding, I genuinely felt like really creeped out,
mm.
because I was like, I felt so like kind of, and on that, absolutely, we've spoken about this before, but it 100% felt like every time you went on that park, you was being watched.
Oh yeah,
Like you
massively.
were being watched.
It's it's hard to pin down, but it's like we keep saying there was definitely like a different vibe to the place. Like, and you might think we're just saying that, but we're really not. Like, it did feel totally creepy. But it's like Adam said, we're young and dumb. Like, to a couple of 17-year-olds, that's like, oh my god, that's exciting. Like, we could die. Oh my god.
Yeah.
we could
It's
we could be
it's
the inspiration for the next horror film.
Yeah, literally. But it's kind of like it's as weird. So like I had a house party in that area, and then to get from like to get from this house party to back home, I walked home because it's not a million miles away from my house.
Hmm.
So you're drunk, so obviously your confidence is high, and things like that. And we were at a house party there. I don't even know if I told you this. This was like a couple of years before I moved, and there's maybe me and then I can't remember if it was two or three other people, and we was gonna walk through kind of like the field
Yeah.
to get through to like Asda. So the Asda is 24 hours, and we wanted some like food and stuff, and there's and whatnot. And I was basically going, oh yeah, we'll go and get some food from Asda. What I was going to do is I was going to get to Asda and then I was going to be like, no, I'm going to call it a night because the Asda's 5 minutes from my
Typical
house.
Adam maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah, and the amount of times it's wet, it's brilliant.
Mm.
But and they're basically like, I didn't even know where he was in terms of like, I didn't know this house was as close as to this nature reserve as it was. So we're there, we're partying, blah 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 blah. We're drunk, but we're still kind of like well, we are drunk, but we're not to the point where we're paralytic and we're dropping down. And my mate turned around and was like, "Oh yeah, I know cut through. It'll literally not like 10 minutes off the journey." So it was like, "All right, cool. We'll all do it then." And basically, we got to the nature reserve, and I was like, and I instantly got a bad vibe from it, right? And I didn't even know it was the same nature reserve. This is how weird it was. I didn't know because we came from it from a different angle, so I
Right.
didn't even know it was the nature reserve, right? And I was like, "Oh, I'm getting bad vibes from this." And one of my mates literally turned around, who lives in Beverley, turned around and went, "Yeah, I'm not feeling good about this place." And he's never even stepped foot in the area. All right, I've not told him any stories about it. I didn't even know it was this thing, so there's no way he knew. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to go through this." And I was like, "No, I don't." So then we walked past, and where we came from, the different angle, so you'll know, is, so do you know where the house was? And there's a massive field behind the house, kind of in between the street, like
Yeah.
the mudded street, and then the house was on one side and the nature reserve was on the other. I was on the house side, so we'd made the cut through like the cornfield, gone over, and then we'd got to. So I didn't even know where we were, and so we walked down the mud path, and then I saw where we were, and I saw the park, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is weird." The fact that I didn't even know, and I got a bad vibe, and my mate got a bad vibe, and it was easy to turn around and go, "Oh well, yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're walking through a forest, and it's pitch black. Of course you're going to be scared, but you're not going to be scared when there's a group of 3 or 4 guys, and you've all got, you know, the Dutch courage of a bit of alcohol in you. That you're not going to be scared, all right? If you're on your own, yeah, fair enough. But when there's 3 or 4 people, you're not going to be scared, or you're going to have reservations, but you're not going to speak them out loud. Something was like, "No, tell them you don't want to go in there." And my mate was also like, "I don't want to go in here too." And it wasn't until I realised where we were, I was like, "Oh my god, it makes sense." So it's not like, it'd be very easy for us to turn around and go, "Oh yeah, well we just connected that with bad vibes, and therefore every time we went there it was just bad vibes." No, because even when I didn't know it was that place, I still got bad vibes from it.
No,
It's
that's
mad.
weird. It's weird that you would go there and not know, because obviously you don't know as well when you're drunk. Like, your senses are completely
Yeah.
just.
And plus, like, the area is like full of council houses, and every council house area where we live looks basically like the same. Like, they're the same brick, the same front garden, the same overgrown shit, the same basically people who live there. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you're
they've all
not
got
wrong.
11 kids running around. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, there was kind of no way of not, like, if I was completely sober, I'd have probably worked it out. But when you're drunk and you're speaking to your mates and they're all going, "Oh, I've heard this person's getting off at this party," there were so many things interesting you more than these houses. Okay. But don't you find that weird? The fact that like instantly my brain was like, this doesn't feel good.
Oh yeah,
And I, bear in
definitely.
mind, I've walked through when I've been drunk, and when I've even been sober, I've walked through a lot of places, like forests, like massive fields, and that lot. I don't. It's not naturally something that I get a bad vibe from an area. I got a bad vibe from that.
It is weird. Like, I know I keep saying that. People are probably getting fucking sick of me saying, "Oh, it is weird," but it is. Like, sorry, but I don't know what else to say to you guys. Like, it was very fucking weird. um, there isn't really much else you can say about the place. Like, it did give weird vibes. It gave weird vibes, everybody. Weird vibes. You know, it's it's just one of them things. Like, it's somewhere you shouldn't go, so please don't. I mean, none of you know where
Please
it
do.
is, but
Yeah. I
none
think.
of you know
I
where
think.
it is.
I think. To be honest, like, I think when we meet up, when obviously everything's cleared up and, you know, we've both got money in our
We
pocket,
should
I
go.
think we need to return, and I think we need to kind
Film
of
it.
see what kind of stuff, what kind of mysterious stuff is going down there, because there is no doubt about it. There'd just be really weird things happening. So like I remember a time where we walked through and it was maybe half nine, 10 o'clock at night, and it was obviously quite. It was pretty much. It was like getting to the point where it's like early night, so it was fairly dark, and we walked around the back of the nature reserve through the little maze area, and there was just like an old woman just sat there. Like if it was 11 o'clock in the morning, you could say, oh, well, it's an old woman sat there looking at the birds or looking at, just going out for a walk. It was late at night and she was just sat there in the darkness.
And it was a fucking
And
witch.
yeah. And then she got on a broomstick. But do you know what I mean? It's just weird stuff like that where you're like, this, which could be perfectly normal stuff, she could just be insane. Alright? Or she could have been
Perfectly
dead. I
normal
don't know. I
stuff.
didn't
She
take your
could just be
points.
insane.
Yeah.
You're perfectly normal.
But like weird stuff like that doesn't add up. No 8-year-old should be out of the home after 6 o'clock. Like that should be a law, right? She was out and it was pitch black. I don't know. Maybe she was a witch. Maybe she was dead. Maybe she was a demon. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me in that place.
Oh, fucking hell.
And then we'd just find clothes, like full clothes, just littered on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember that time we heard the screaming?
Yeah, that was bad.
Maybe she was a witch. Maybe she just lived in there, and that's who we could hear screaming.
Yeah, we did hear screaming on a few times, but there would be times where it would just be like there would literally be trousers, top, socks on the floor, and we're like, who? What? It just doesn't make sense.
I mean, like, there could be logical explanations. Like, maybe there's a nudist colony in there. Like, who knows? Like, they all meet up at like the stroke of midnight, and they all get naked and go for their jollies in the bushes and act like wolves and shit. Maybe I should join them. That'd be quite
Yeah, I was
fitting.
gonna say if that is the case, then we absolutely should be going back there when we meet up. But I can't describe like there's obviously it's natural to get bad vibes when it's late at night and it's a forest and you're in an area that you don't particularly know and you know that there's potentially other people in there. But it wasn't that. It was the feeling of constantly being watched. It was the feeling of constantly fearful of going closer to it. Like me and Tommy were mad. Like we were pretty much insane, and we didn't want to go in there. You know what I mean? We do a
Yeah.
lot of things.
Oh
But we didn't
yeah,
want to go
like
in there.
even to the point where like we were still I say I was pretty ballsy with it. Um, do you remember when like we did see those flashing lights? Like I used to start playing music at full blast to try and get their attention and shit.
Yeah.
Like just zero fucks. But then it was also because I was in a bad place and I didn't care if I died. And if Adam died as well, then at least I've got someone in hell
You'd have been
to
in a
keep me
good
company.
place.
Uh, it's just one of them things. But I mean, I've been in there late on my own before. Like again, I shouldn't, but because of my mental state at the time, like I wanted to be alone, and the woods it felt like a good place to be, I guess. And like I remember as well because I went in there really late on my own, and I'm coming out, and there's a group of kids, and I'm literally I've got my hood up and everything, and I walk past them, and one of them goes, "Wait, is that Tommy?" And it was my cousin's friends. Obviously, they know me, and they were like, "What the fuck are you doing in here on your own?" I'm like, well, just silently wishing for the end, making rituals with a witch, selling my soul to the devil. Take your pick. No, he was good, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna lie, I miss how I was back then, because I had, like, I just gave zero fucks, and I had a lot of confidence, and that's all gone because of my mental state and everything, like, I just lost all that confidence, and I know it's like, it's not exactly brilliant, and not something to be proud of, going, oh, I went into the woods on my own, oh, I'm a genius. Like, no, but I miss that level of confidence, like, being able to do that. I don't know. We had some fucked up times there, for sure. I feel like there's more, and that we're gonna remember once we finish the video.
Yeah, we might have to make a part two to this, like because already
Mm.
it's like a long, it's a long video. But and the weird thing is like you get talking about it, and then like other things, like definitely more happened. What we will have to do, like whenever we think of something, we're gonna have to like write it down. So then
Yeah.
and then get the piece of paper out, and then read them off there. But because there was so much weird stuff, like, I know for a fact that there was a shit ton of more stuff that happened that would be absolute gold. But like we'll have to make a follow up of this video at one point once we've remembered. But yeah, it was like it's still a place that's quite close to our heart because it was something we spent a lot of time there. But it was also a really creepy place.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
was fun though. Like you said, we did spend a shit ton of time there, like over the years. And to be
brilliant.
fair, I remember it got to the point there that there was that much going on that I think you like flat out refused to go there anymore.
Yeah,
Like I'd
yeah,
suggest it, and you'd just be like, "Nah, I'm not going there." Which I don't
yeah,
blame you.
and that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It was just it was like a constant. It was a constant. Oh, I mean, there was that time when, speaking of you being ballsy and playing music, like you started flashing your
Yeah.
torch, your light at it, and it would match what you was doing.
It would copy me, wouldn't it? Almost like
But
in
like,
reply.
and again, obviously, sat there with your skeptic head on, you think, oh well, it's someone in there and it can see your flashing light and it's just copying. But these lights would like happen at like sporadic points on the in the thing, like. So it would happen at one place. It would happen like on the far right, and then down the middle, on the left, and then up in like what felt like up in a tree. Like it wasn't like
It was
unless you
places
know.
it shouldn't have been happening, really.
Yeah,
Like we
it
shouldn't have
was
been able
just
to see it.
so weird.
I don't know. Maybe there was like a cult in there, and they're just like fucking with people. I don't
It
know.
wouldn't surprise me because because it was just. I mean, we did see a fire once in there, like a campfire thing through the you know what I mean. So maybe there was sacrificing someone or something. I don't know. It sounds so weird, but like this is the kind of stuff that went through my mind, and I like out and this is this. That would, I mean, obviously there's a lot of other explanations, and we'll jump into a really big one here. But that would explain why cars went in there and then didn't come back for ages. Because I'm not talking one or two cars. I'm talking there'd be 6 or 7 cars that would go down there, right, and not leave. And like I say, you can get through this nature reserve within 20, 30 minutes, right, at the most. We would be there for 3 hours. We'd see a car come in and not come out. And then, okay, fair enough. You could say, well, maybe they all belong to the house. That house literally had 2 cars, and it would have the same cars parked outside, right? These cars would come in and then not come out. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it was just so. It was just so bizarre. So maybe there was like a cult or something going on.
Mm.
You know, and the amount of one like people who would just wander in. We'd be on the park. It'd be like plus obviously with that being said, most of the times we were there like late at night till about maybe midnight. Why the hell would you decide? It's not like you're gonna go on a family trip at 11:30 at night to a nature reserve. Like that's not gonna happen. If it was 10 in the morning, you maybe explain the cars. 11:30 at midnight at night, you know it's not gonna happen. And the amount of times we'd be on the park and we'd just see like like a guy just walk through. Not even look at us or notice us, and just walk straight through the park, through the field into the woods. And we were like, that was weird. What the hell was that? And then we'd not see them come out, and we would see people come out because there's only one way out. You know what I mean? There's only one way out, so we would see these people come out.
It,
But the amount of times that happened, 4 or 5 occasions where a man or a woman would just walk in at like 11:30 at night, and we're like, what?
it was very weird. I don't know, like, I keep saying, like, maybe it was something that can be explained, like a sex cult, or, you know, like, it is the sort of place people would go to like do dogging and shit. Like maybe it was that. Maybe it's as harmless as a couple of loads of middle-aged people wanting to get it on.
Yeah.
Not outside of the realm of possibility. Just God, I'd rather it be a cult.
I mean,
I
that would
just
explain why clothes were on the floor as well.
It would definitely. That's what I mean. Like Adam said it, and I'm sure you already know. But like, I'm the believer out of the two of us. But still, I before I believe anything, I have to see like irrefutable proof and everything. Like, otherwise, I will come up with some logical explanation for it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But we'll definitely have more stories, and we'll come up with a part 2 because there definitely will be a follow-on from this. And maybe if you're
Oh
watching this in a
yeah.
couple of months' time, the part 2 might already be out. But yeah, weird.
Oh yeah, very weird. But yeah, that's been the end of this episode, guys. This will go up in uh, God knows. I think like 4 weeks from now. Because like I said, I'm trying to stick to the scheduling with this one. So I am like I'm scheduling them in for like every Wednesday, and I'm trying to get like as many filmed as possible because I know what I'm like with schedules. I'm just terrible with sticking to anything like that. I've tried before, and it don't work. So I'm trying to just be really good at it, to be honest. But yeah, I'm rambling as I always do, as you always know, and you all hate me for it. Well, you don't hate me for it. You love me. How couldn't you love me? It's me.
You're rambling again.
I am rambling. You're right. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below and say goodbye to the wonderful Adam for being a special guest star yet again.
Bye.
Bye bye!